What's going on, everyone? And welcome to another episode of the 49 Carats podcast. You're joining us for a pretty awesome episode where we are going to put our GM hats on and project the 53-man roster. Also, we're going to go through some news. We're going to do all that stuff, talk about the last preseason game, which was pretty interesting. And
I had a blast.
I'm Stephanie. I have my co-host here, Angie writes. And
Whichever one you want to go with.
Whichever one. And Sunshine, all that. For those of you who are listening to us or watching us on the 49ers Goldmine page, we thank you. We did not hack Leo Luna's page, just so we're we're just guest hosting our podcast here and trying to, grow our listeners in the process. So thank you for tuning in with us. So how are you feeling, Ange?
I'm feeling good. I'm ready for the season to start. Sunday was a lot of fun to watch. I don't know if it's quite, what we will see this season, but hell, it was a blast nonetheless. And I think the Raiders, and along with everyone else in the NFL, we're thinking WTF is going on. So I'm excited to talk about the game. I'm excited to talk about our 53 man roster projections and see if we kind of are on the same wavelength like we usually are, or if we have a couple different picks for the roster.
Right. Which one of us is going to be John Lynch and which one of us is going to be Kyle Shanahan?
I feel like you have the drip, so you have to be Kyle.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm not, I'm not swaggy enough to be Kyle. I'm more of like, I'm a good talker. That's what I got going for me. Okay. So I feel like it kind of matches up.
What's up, Amin?
Hi, Amin.
Amin. I'm bad at pronouncing names, as you will find out. Before we get into this week in 49ers history, we just wanted to quickly, give our thoughts and prayers to anyone who is in Louisiana right now and in the eye of the Storm Ida. It's been downgraded to tropical storm, so that's some good news. And then also anyone who is affected by the Caldor fire in Lake Tahoe. It's making its way to South Lake Tahoe. There's some evacuations happening. So our hearts go out to you guys, and please stay safe out there.
Devastating imagery coming out of both of those places. It's crazy to have all these natural disasters going on at the same time, and we're lucky enough to not be affected by them. But yeah, shout out Steph for thinking of giving our thoughts and prayers to those who are suffering right now, because if you're evacuating and you're safe, you're still suffering. Like, I've never had to evacuate from anywhere in my life, so can't even imagine what they're going through.
Right. Scary stuff. So we're thinking about you guys, and stay safe. So this week in 49ers history, Ange, do you want to take us away on that one?
Yeah, I'll start with Joe Staley's birthday is today. He's 37 years old. And by today, if you're listening, audio listeners, we recorded this on August 30th. Joe Staley is 37 years old today. And this is an even more exciting birthday for him, maybe, because it was recently announced that he's going to be joining NBC Sports Bay Area as an analyst for the pre and post game live. So I know we all love to hear what Joe Staley had to say when he was on the 49ers. And even since he's been retired, he's stuck around and given his 2 cents on everything. So it'll be awesome to see him in the pre and post game lives. I'm so excited. What do you think really about excited. That stuff?
Oh, dude, he's such a character. Like, I miss the Joe Show so much, and to have him, even in his first interview, did you see he was interviewing George Kittle last week? That was hilarious. Like, he's just gonna add a new perspective and some fun to the media room, so that'll be really fun.
Yeah. And then also this week in 49ers history, 49ers linebacker Elvis Dumervil announced his retirement on this day in 2018. He had his last season in the NFL with San Francisco in 2017. So we wanted to recognize that beautiful day in San Francisco 49ers history. Anything you want to add about Elvis? What a guy.
Yeah, I mean, he was a pretty, important piece, I guess, at that time, and he
Yeah.
was never, he was never like a super huge contributor,
Star.
but
Yeah.
I remember at the time he was one of our only good pass rushers. That was before our Nick Bosa days when we didn't have too many good pass rushers. So yeah, um, I hope
Back
he's
when we
doing well
were
in his retirement.
yeah, when we were pass rush poor.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
so do we want to hop into the 49ers news?
Yes,
Am
we
I taking this
actually.
one away?
Yeah, you can go for it.
No, you do it. You do it.
Okay. All right. We don't have as much news to go over as last week. We'll have more tomorrow when the 49ers do their cut to 53-man roster. But since the last time we spoke, the team re-signed offensive lineman Corbin Kaufusi and waived Kai Nakua. Got it that right. And Richie
Yeah.
James suffered a knee injury that will keep him out at least 6 weeks. So super bummer for him. He was waived injured, and that opened up a roster spot. And with that roster spot, they signed drumroll. And you want to?
River Craycraft is back, baby. He was
He has
re-signed to a
risen
1-year deal after being cut last week. You thought he was gone.
just to
He's
be cut
back.
again.
Just to be cut again. Hell yeah, we got the River Craycraft squad in the comments. East Bay
Yo.
Chris, he knows what's up. He knows he's part of the Craycraft hive. So yeah, it'll be awesome to see him not on the 53 man, but on the practice squad, and maybe we'll see some action from him this season.
Yeah, you never know. Um, there was only one injury from yesterday's game, and it was a concussion to Travis Benjamin. So all in all, not terrible. I mean, he'll probably be out a week or so. So that I'd say that's pretty positive news on the injury front.
I will say I wasn't going like this because he got Travis Benjamin had a
As he got
concussion. I was
concussed.
doing that because everyone was starting yesterday for the most part, and obviously one of the biggest concerns was that with that is that some of your starting players are going to get injured, and that did not happen. So that was great luck. But did you see there was some concern after the game about Trey Lance's hand? He was grabbing it after it got hit.
Yeah, I mean, he did say, he wasn't too worried about it. They were gonna see
Yeah.
how it reacted today. So I'm not worried about it. If he's not worried about it, he's continued playing in the game after the fact. So I would say it's probably okay.
Yeah, yeah, and Kyle, I think, said he just like jammed his finger or something, which is never fun, but obviously not something to be too concerned about.
Thank you, Ryan, for the shout out there. Yeah, like and subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Stragosaurus, STR, STRAO. Oh my God. You know what? Never mind. It's in my
CAMPFIRESONG song.
it's right there. You read it right there. That's how you spell
Yes.
Stragosaurus. Anyway,
Also,
um,
shout out Ryan, like 49K pod hive as well. I don't know why I keep saying hive, but he's like on every episode commenting and stuff. So we appreciate you,
right on.
Ryan.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Now going on to some observations from the final game. We saw some players making their preseason debut: George Kittle, Trent Williams, to name a few. Also, Jaquiski Tart, who had been injured much of training camp, so that was good to see. We saw Hufunga. Just so you know, that's you maybe have seen me tweet that. That's if you
That's
wanted
the
to hear, yeah,
visualization.
if you wanted to know what that sounded like, there you go. So he started alongside Tart on some two safety looks. So what do you think about that? That was pretty interesting to see him starting. I know Kyle Shanahan has been saying, he's vying for a starting role, but they also have Tavon Wilson. And I thought that was interesting. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was cool to see him start. Obviously, we don't know if that's going to be the case come season, but even though he wasn't as loud on Sunday, I think he had one tackle. He was still in every play, hitting hard. So I'm a big Huff fan. I guess his nickname is apparently Huff, which East Bay Chris just commented. I don't like that. I will
Yeah, I
not be
don't know.
calling him Huff because I just think of Aubrey Huff from the Giants,
Oof,
and
yeah.
like probably maybe my least favorite person on the planet. So I'm gonna try and think of something more fun for Funga. So we'll see. I'm not rocking with Huff, but yeah, it was great to see him in the game and playing a contributing role on the team.
Yeah, definitely. Another player we saw, former safety, now linebacker, Marcel Harris. He seems to be, coming on nicely at his linebacker role. Actually, just last episode, someone asked me if I thought he would make the roster. I said no at the time. But, I think D'Amico Ryan said, he's been playing well. I saw that yesterday. So, I think I'm going to take those words back. And I think he has a pretty good shot to make this roster at linebacker. Actually, his switch to linebacker probably, secured him a spot. So it was nice that he was willing to do that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Anytime the coaches are singing your praises, it's usually a good sign. So it's nice to see him kind of slide into that role where, the 49ers could use it. So
Yeah, definitely. Another thing we saw, which is kind of the talk of the town around 49ers Twitter, is this quarterback committee. I mean, we've been hearing Kyle Shanahan, hint at it throughout the offseason a bit. But this is the first time we've seen them kind of do it, full force with the starting offensive line as well. So, what were your thoughts of that?
I just wish I could go back to yesterday and like re-feel the emotions that I was feeling during that first series, that first drive, because I was literally like, "Oh my god, this is insane. This is insane." And part of me, I was still trying to kind of figure it out. I was like, "Is this what we're rolling with? Like, are we going to have a two quarterback offense that is like a dual-headed monster?" I don't know if I would refer to it as a monster quite yet, but or I also was like, "Is Kyle Shanahan just trying to see what both of them can do with all the starters in?"
Right.
So I was kind of confused at first, but then as the game went on and I saw how it was working really well, I was like, "Oh my god, maybe this could be part of the plan." I don't think it's going to be as big of a part of the plan as it was on Sunday, because that would just be, I feel like, kind of reckless. Because the more you have both guys playing, the more likely it is that one of them is going to get hurt, which you don't really want. I don't know. Some people might, but that's not the game plan you want to roll with, especially if they decide to cut Nate Sudfeld. So we'll see what happens. I thought it was exciting AF, though. What about you?
It definitely was exciting. And one thing that we have to keep in mind though is that the Raiders weren't playing like what any other starters, right? Like most, if
No.
not any. Yeah. So, that's something to consider. East Bay Chris also says, I don't know if it's the right move to rotate quarterbacks, but it was hell exciting to watch. Yeah, no doubt. It was definitely exciting to watch. Again, like it seems like there are pros and cons to this. You mentioned one of them, like, what if there's more risk to one of them getting hurt? Also, I think one of the pros is, obviously it keeps the defense, guessing as to what you're going to do next. I mean, Kyle Shanahan is a genius. And if he has, two quarterbacks at his disposal, and let's just say it opens up the offense even more, there's no telling what he's going to do. So that already was scary, right? And then you add in Trey Lance, right? And the only thing that I was thinking is whenever Trey Lance was in there and Raheem Mostert was in there, I was like, oh my God, like it just opened things up for Mostert. And the fact Mostert's already really fast. And if you just could get defenses to, have a half a second of thinking a little bit more, that's just going to open up a lane for him even quicker, or that lane's going to close up even slower for him. So he's going to take advantage of that. And yeah, it was really exciting to see. And they were both successful in it. They both scored rushing touchdowns while they were doing it. So yeah, it was.
I have I have to laugh. I thought Jimmy G broke his neck on his touchdown that he had. I was like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?"
It's like, well, there goes Jimmy.
That was awesome to see. I wanted to throw out really quick while we were talking about the Heemster and Trey Lance
Yeah.
both in the backfield. I mean, that first, it was a read option, I think, where Raheem just took off. Trey Lance also took off sprinting, as you do on that play. Terrifying. Like, it was
Yeah.
actually terrifying to see both of them just like sprinting up the field. And like, if I were on the opposing defense, I like, literally terrifying is the only word that comes to mind because they're both so fast and so big. It was just nuts.
Right, and a few people were pointing out that Trey Lance, had he kept it, he could have probably scored a touchdown on that play too.
Yeah.
But maybe he's been instructed to not run the ball. Something we'll touch on in a bit as well. But yeah, really good to see. But we did also see some drops from the receivers once again. Trey Lance has 9 of his pass attempts this preseason dropped, and that's 32.1% of his catchable targets. And that's 3 more than any other quarterback. So, thoughts on this? I mean, we talked about it last week. Like, is he throwing the ball too fast? Some people were saying like it's a ball too wobbly. Like, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. I know there's a lot of discourse between fans and analysts right now as to why these drops are affecting Lance so much. And yeah, we talked about it a little bit last week. Is he throwing it too hard? Now, people are wondering, are his passes too wobbly? Like, is he not gripping the ball in the right spot? Which are all things that can be corrected. Granted, you don't want to still be dealing with those things the last week of preseason if this man is going to be starting games for you or playing in games. Honestly, I have no idea why they're dropping the ball. Wobbly, fast, whatever is up with the ball, if it touches your hands, if you're a wide receiver or any type of receiver in the NFL, you should be catching the ball. That's just my opinion, because most of the time these throws haven't been bad throws. I know there obviously have been some bad throws by Trey Lance. I'm not saying all of his throws are perfect, but catchable passes. So it's definitely a problem that I hope doesn't carry over into the regular season with the receivers. That's all I can say. I don't know why they're dropping the ball, to be honest. I don't think anyone does, or else they would have fixed it.
Right, it's a mystery, and we even saw Wes Welker. There was like a video clip from practice of Wes Welker just like throwing the ball at the receivers, like getting them to practice catching. And I don't know if Wes Welker can quite
Throw it
as
as
fast
hard
as Trey Lance, but it was, they're working
like the
on
same
it.
size.
It looks like they're working on it at least. We'll talk about quarterbacks a bit more later. But let's move on. One of the other observations was that the starting defense looked fast out there. Like, their closing speed is impressive. Like, they were just swarming the ball. Yeah, do you have any thoughts on that?
They did look fast, and I think obviously you have to note that the Raiders weren't starting any of their starting offensive linemen, but
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't hinder the speed of these athletes that the 49ers do have on defense. So, while getting to the ball might have been easier, they still did look fast as fuck, boy. Sorry, I cussed, but had to say it. I had to say it.
We'll
But
just
yeah,
bleep that out.
that would just be what I would add, is that it was number one, it was the Raiders. I gotta talk a little shit about the Raiders because my boyfriend's a Raiders fan, and as 49ers fans do, I must. But also, like, it wasn't even the starting Raiders. So
Right.
it is what it is. That's one time. That's one time I've said that during the episode. We'll keep
She
count.
said she would not say it is what it is at any point today. She gave herself one.
Yeah,
So
that was it.
there it is right there. She's not allowed to say it again. So I was mentioning some of the players that we saw for the first time this preseason. Elijah Mitchell was also one of them. Jalen Hurd was also one of them. So Mitchell is back from his injury, which is exciting to see. What did you think of his play? He looked a little discombobulated at times, but when but when he was running well. So what'd you think of Mitchell?
Yeah, I love discombobulated. I would not have thought of I was gonna say maybe like rusty. It was his first time playing this preseason. We saw the rust. He ended up shaking off the rust by a few plays in, but he obviously went the wrong way on a handoff, and he also had a false start, and I think that might have been in the same drive. Don't quote me on that though. It might not have been the same drive, but regardless, you could tell that he just hasn't played in a while. So again, those are all things that will come as he gets more playing time at the NFL level. So I thought it was exciting. I thought he looked great. The kickoff returns are a huge plus. Anytime you have a competent person who can get that many yards on a kickoff return, that's exciting as a fan, and I'm sure as a special teams coach. So it was nice to. I mean, you could have expected worse from him, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to mention the special teams contribution as well. That's interesting because, as roster cuts come around, that could be, something that is able to keep him around. Jalen Hurd is another player who, we've talked about somewhat being on the bubble, just having some struggles coming back from injury. So he had a decent showing. I mean, again, you could see the rust. He hadn't played a game in since the 2019 preseason.
That's a long
So
time.
it's a really long time. So we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He played 25 snaps. You can tell like Kyle Shanahan was really trying to, get him the ball. He dropped 2 passes and he was graded I think the lowest of the 49ers, might be just on offense, but he was graded 49.2. So not stellar.
Yeah, you could definitely see the rust, obviously. Like we said, he hasn't played in like 2 years. So props to him to getting back on the field. Like that's a mentally difficult thing to do, to come back from injury and fight through injury and train in order to be good enough to even get back on the field. So big props to him. And then, I mean, his time off the field showed while he was on the field. I mean, you just talked about how he was targeted 6 times and he had pretty much as many yards in the game as receivers that were only targeted like 1 or 2 times and had like 1 or 2 catches. So I feel like he's still getting his feet on the turf, but
yeah,
good things to come if he makes the roster.
Yeah, and this is actually a good segue into our cap or no cap segment. For those of you who don't know, cap again is a kind of slang word we say if someone's BSing. Basically, no cap means okay, yeah, 100, you right. So this week's cap or no cap. So Kyle Shanahan said that Jalen Hurd is one of the team's top 6 receivers. And this was part of his quote, but you've got to make sure guys are healthy enough to play through the year, that they don't just get to week 1 and only last a quarter and a half, and then they've got another injury and you're wishing you had another guy there, but he didn't make the 53 because of that. So this is a 2-parter cap or no cap question for you. Do you think Kyle Shanahan truly believes that Hurd is a top 6 receiver on the team? And 2, do you think all Hurd needed to do was remain healthy at the end of yesterday's game to make the 53 man?
I'm going to say no cap. I think Kyle is being straight up here. I think he really likes Jalen Hurd. And I think he does believe that he's a top 6 receiver on this team, especially when you account for the Richie James injury and now Travis Benjamin, who has a concussion. I believe he'll be on the 53-man roster. Should I move on to part 2?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Also, no cap. Yeah, I think Kyle pretty much was like, yo, if he's healthy, I'm going to give him a shot. I'm excited for it. I think Hurd has that duality. He can run the ball and that can make him a really valuable weapon in this run heavy hybrid offense that Kyle Shanahan runs. So I think that he values players like that can do more than one thing.
Right. So for the first one, do I think Kyle Shanahan believes that Hurd is a top 6 receiver on the team? No cap. I mean, it was interesting to hear him say that, but I think I think him saying that didn't necessarily guarantee Hurd a roster spot. But yeah, I mean, it's not crazy to think that he's one of the most talented 6 receivers on the team. I mean, there's a reason that Kyle Shanahan drafted him. And obviously there's something that he likes. And as we saw with, a player like Dante Pettis, like
I was about to say that he was very dudes.
He was very patient with Dante Pettis. And Pettis, his issue was an injury. So I think here with Hurd, he has that benefit of the doubt. He's coming back from injury. We're going to give you a shot. So on the second one, do I think that all Hurd needed to do was remain healthy? Earlier in the week, I would have probably said that was cap. But again, with the Richie James injury, like that definitely changed some things. Also, after the game, like throughout all this preseason, we've been talking about Nasimba Webster, Travis Benjamin, like they've been looking good, Juwan Jennings as well. But that kind of tapered off like towards the end. Like I don't think that Juwan Jennings had a particularly big game yesterday. Things have gone quiet for him. So I think no cap on that as well. I think Hurd is going to get a spot on this roster. Again, something we'll talk about when we do our projections here shortly. But before we do that, we're gonna get into our Twitter tizzy. Do you wanna talk about this one right here?
Yeah.
What were people arguing about?
We kind of already touched on it a little bit, but we're trying to figure out if, well, not we, but people on Twitter are trying to figure out if Trey Lance is capable of throwing a spiral. I guess that's what people are arguing over these days. Steph, what have you seen from Trey Lance's spin, and do you think it's something that people should be stressing over? Yeah, because they are.
Yeah, I mean, stressing over, no. It's definitely something I've noticed. But the ball still gets to where it needs to go. That's the thing. Like, yeah, it'll be a wobbler, but it still gets to the receiver. If it were a wobbler and like it was underthrown, for example, then I'd be a little worried. But I haven't seen that as much. So no, I'm not too worried about the pass being wobbly. Again, like we mentioned earlier, receivers have to make the catch, as long as it's in their vicinity. Your hands touch it, you're expected to catch it. So again, like I think it's something that's correctable. He's still getting his feet wet as a player in the NFL, and I think as he gets more playing time, that will improve. And that's another good thing about having this quarterback committee, because as a coach, like Kyle isn't tied down to saying like one quarterback is a starter. Of course, like Garoppolo is still the starter, but there's less. I don't know. It's not black and white, right? Like you can have Garoppolo be your starter, but Lance could take most of the snaps, right? So I mean, I'm kind of getting into another discussion here, but about the wobbly passes, I'm not worried about it. I don't think fans should be worried about it. It's something to keep an eye on, of course, but no reason to get angry, start calling him a bus or anything like that. So, yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, you said it all. I don't even think I need to add anything. And I mean, I could think of like 5 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks off the top of my head that have thrown a wobbly pass or two. So, and one of them
Peyton
was
Manning.
against us. And Peyton Manning, I feel like Joe Flacco really just would lob it up there and it would be spinning and doing all kinds. It would be going the wrong way and people would still catch it for a touchdown. So at the end of the day, as long as the ball's in the air and it's getting to where it's going to go, what are you going to do about it? And I mean, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You nailed it, Steph. Rant over. You said it all.
Rant over, discussion over. I don't want to see anyone talking about this on Twitter ever again.
Ever again.
We close the discussion, okay? All right. So now to the moment we've all been waiting for. We're going to project the 53-man roster over here. So let's fucking go. Sorry to swear, but I mean, hopefully no kids are watching.
LFG. Let's go. We need a soundboard.
We do. I need to get one. I will work on that.
All right. I have some sounds for you.
Do you? Okay. We'll talk. We'll talk.
Okay.
All right. So we have our 53-man projection spreadsheet here. And I'm sorry if it's a little small. I will zoom in when appropriate, but just to show you guys. So we have offense at the
I
top.
heard spreadsheets are like all the rage right now.
They are all the rage right now. Everyone's talking spreadsheets, whether you love them or hate them. I don't care. We're going to do this on a spreadsheet, okay? Word docs just wouldn't do it this time. So yeah, we have offense on the top and defense at the bottom. And to the right here, you'll see all of the 80 players. What we're gonna do is we're gonna filter this column to show us what do you want to do first, Anne? Should we do quarterbacks first? That seems pretty easy, right? We can knock that out. All right, let's see. I think I could filter this column. Let's see. We're going to filter quarterbacks. Okay, that's not what I want. All right, is QB. I got to make it so complicated. Oh my God. Okay, you know what? I should have tested that earlier, but okay, so we got so you see we got Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, and Nate Sudfeld. So who are we picking here? I'm gonna, we know that Jimmy Garoppolo's in there, so I'm just gonna, we know Trey Lance is in there. And do you want to keep Nate Sudfeld?
I have two quarterbacks. My reasoning is I kind of talked about it earlier. I don't think that 2 quarterback system is going to be like the norm. So I think that should allow them to just keep 2 quarterbacks on the roster. I mean, there's not that it's I don't know. I just think why are you trading up to get Trey Lance just to have a 3rd quarterback taking up a roster spot on your bench? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I would rather use that roster spot somewhere else.
I agree. So Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are in agreement there. 2 quarterbacks.
I thought you were gonna tell them like, hey, if you're listening, but I forgot we are them.
We are them. We've put our I got my Kyle Shanahan hat on and you have your John Lynch hat on. So that's how we'll go about this.
Gang.
Look, I'm gonna try one more time to sort this or filter this. Bear with me really quick.
Technology is hard, dude.
It is. Also, I'm used to Excel, and this is, as you can see, numbers. I don't know, But
like the weird Apple version.
Right. Exactly.
The fake version of Excel.
In the fake version, yes, it's definitely not doing it for me. Contains. How about that? There we go. Except it's only showing. It's not showing Nate Sudfeld, so that's weird.
Well, it doesn't. He doesn't matter.
He does. He does not. He just does not matter. Okay. Match all filters. Match any filters. Oh, that's weird. Okay. You know what? We won't do it because
the spreadsheet.
Respect. Oh no, we will. We'll do the spreadsheet. Just not the filtering. Respect Nate Sudfeld, man.
He's from the 209. Legally, I have to respect him. Legally, I want him to start for the 49ers, but
oh my God,
proactively, he cannot.
All right, so let's see here. And I'm going to get a little closer so I could get my typing going. All right, so now we got running back. So, we probably want to keep like about five of them. Let's make it easy. Oh, why am I typing this?
Him.
Also, Kyle Juszczyk, I mean, he should be up there too.
Juice is in there.
He's going to be under running backs.
Oh, I'm so excited to see who you want to keep.
Am I missing someone here? I feel like I'm missing someone.
Next,
Trey Sermon. I Trey Sermon. I don't know why. Idiot sandwich. Trey Sermon. And this is where it gets interesting because we got 3 here. And then we have Elijah Mitchell, Wayne Gallman, and then who else? Between those. Oh, Hasty.
Yeah, and Hasty.
Also missed him. So who would you put? I guess it doesn't matter the order, but
So for the final two spots,
Yes.
I have Elijah Mitchell marked as safe. He's making the
I
53
think so
man.
too.
I mean, they invested a draft spot in him, and I thought that he looked great on Sunday, and did enough to earn a spot on the roster, especially given the fact that his stock rises with that kickoff return ability. So I'm throwing him on there. And then I don't know if we're gonna agree on this last spot, but I would love to see JaMychal Hasty make the roster.
Ooh, okay.
You want
Yes.
Gallman or what?
No.
Okay.
I also think Jermichael Hasty. Is that his? Yeah, right. Jermichael
Yeah.
Hasty. Why am I?
Yeah.
What the hell? What's wrong with me today?
My whole
Hasty.
thing with
Yeah.
that is, I mean, once Jeff Wilson Jr. comes back, one of these guys is off the roster anyway. So I would love to see Hasty get a chance.
Yeah, and
Personally.
did you know? So okay, with Hasty, it comes down to two things between Hasty and Gallman. Hasty has been the better runner this preseason, and Gallman has
Better
been better
pass
at pass
protector.
protection. So if you ask a fan, I think they might say Hasty. If you ask a coach, they might say Gallman. So
Yeah.
that's the interesting thing. So if I'm in Kyle Shanahan's head, I don't know what he would say,
I have no
on this.
idea.
I
But
hope he
that's
would say
why I'm a
Hasty, though.
fan.
That's why I'm a fan. I hope he would say Hasty because Hasty, I don't know if you saw this, Ange, but he is NFC's leading rusher this preseason. Did you see that?
Exactly. I did not know that, but it doesn't surprise me one bit.
Doesn't
Like, he's had
right?
such a good preseason. It only feels right to reward him for that, And
And
we saw him in games last season and he did great. So, like, I'm all for it. Get him on the roster.
get him on. And not just
Get
that,
him.
like the argument is also like, oh, like if you cut Hasty, he'll go on the practice squad. Will he though?
Right.
Will he though? He's going to
He'll get
get
picked up.
Oh, absolutely, especially with all the noise that he's made this preseason, 176 yards, 3 touchdowns. So Wayne Gallman, on the other hand, he was a free agent when they signed him. People weren't really clamoring over him, so there's a chance he can go on the practice squad. So no harm, no foul there.
No harm, no
Um,
foul.
Oh, you know what? Let's do special teams really quick because that's easy. We can knock that out. So we've got I got them here at the bottom. We'll just copy those guys in. Their spots. I don't think none of these have had any competition throughout this off season, so their spots are secure. So yeah. Who would or what position would you say is pretty easy from here? You want to try tight end?
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Okay, so we've got 4 options at tight end. Kittle. Ooh, that's a head scratcher right there. I don't know. I don't know if
I'm
he'll
gonna say
make
give it to him.
Well, do you want to go with 3 tight ends or 4?
I have 4.
You have 4.
I have 4.
Interesting.
And maybe I did my math wrong, but I have 4.
Okay. I would go with 3. What's your argument for keeping Michael Pruitt?
Just because it's nice to have someone who is as athletic as him. He's really good on the blocking side of things and on special teams. He has that special teams ability. So I thought it might be nice to keep him on there, but also I feel like going with 3 isn't a bad thing and using that roster spot somewhere else.
Okay. See, this is where
also a lot of projections have 4. So, but
do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah.
3 makes sense as well. I mean, it's not like my 4th one is a game changer or anything, which was Pruitt. So
okay. Let's come back to that then. For now, we'll for sure put Kittle and Dwelly, but let's come back to the final 2 because you never know. There might be a competition somewhere else where we're like, maybe we don't need that 4th tight end.
So true. So
trying to
true.
convince you here, Ange. Come on.
I swear, I literally, you convinced me when you said, "Oh, I have 3." I was like, "Oh, okay." Whatever you say, Steph. You're way smarter than me.
Wow, John Lynch, you're quite the pushover these days.
I got to listen to the head coach. You feel me?
He does have the final say in roster decisions. Let's not
See?
forget. This is true. Let's do center really quick because this one is a pretty easy one as well. I mean, obviously we have Alex Mack, and then there's Jake Brendel, who's actually been playing really well, like really well. He's
Yeah.
been a bright spot, but is there really a need to have 2 centers on the roster? I'm not sure. What do you think, Ange?
I have Mac and Brendel on my O line. I just did the full O line, and I have, how many do I have?
So on the
9.
Okay, yeah, we maybe want to go with 8 to 9. So you have Brendel. Okay,
Just for that depth, you feel me?
all right.
Because he's
Let's look
played
at the
well.
let's look at offensive tackle and guard then. So obviously we've got a tackle. So are you keeping Sean Coleman or are you not?
No.
You are not keeping Sean Coleman. So I'm okay with not keeping Sean Coleman. That's fine. Alfredo Gutierrez is he's a roster exemption, I think, right now. So he does not count towards the 53. So we won't put him on the board for that reason, but he will likely be part of the team. Offensive guard. So few options here. So who are you keeping out of this group? Or who are you not keeping out of this group? Tom Compton?
Oops, sorry, there goes my dog. Sorry, I can't see your.
That was it. Like,
talk about who you're going to keep while I get my dog to stop barking.
I mentioned Tom Compton and your dog started barking, so I don't think, he wants to keep him. Okay, so
and I didn't keep him either. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I mean, obviously Tomlinson, he's a starter. Brunskill, he has, worked at multiple positions on the offensive line, so definitely got to keep him around.
I feel
Aaron
like,
Banks, he's your high draft pick. Definitely keeping him around. He is hurt, but he's going to make this 53 regardless. He is not on the pup. He is not on injured reserve. So, and Colton McKivitz, did you have him on?
I do. He's last on my list, but I also had 9, remember? So if we're keeping 8, then he's my odd man out.
He is. Okay. Interesting. So I had him in.
But you didn't have Brendel in, right?
No, it did not.
So that's the one.
Did we rock, paper, scissors? Like,
well,
all right, let's see.
I feel like, I mean, I have Brendel higher on my depth chart, so I'm rocking with him. I mean, I just threw McKivitz in there because.
I mean, okay, the reason that I'm keeping McKivitz right now is because Aaron Banks is hurt right now. So so Ryan sense. Down here is saying, what if Mac gets hurt? You got to have 2 centers, right? I mean, if you have a center on your practice squad, then that I think you can always bring him up if Alex Mack gets hurt. And also, like, center is not something that you change in and out during games. Like, he's a constant, right? So,
yeah,
you have to worry. You don't have to worry about that. Did I sway you?
Yeah, I didn't even consider just having one center. So I feel like, but the way that you explained it, that makes sense. We'll see if that's how they roll.
It'd be like, that meme where it's like, have I swayed you? I don't know if you know what you mean. I'm talking about the little boy that's like, okay. And
I don't know.
Oh, I'll definitely put that in the no context.
Yes. There you go.
Okay. Where did he go? So we said Colton McKivitz is up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So then we got 8.
Yep.
Oh, 9 if you count Alex Mack. And
Well, if you count,
then
but yeah.
yeah, there is a chance that they elect to keep another guy. Like, and if they do, it'll be either Brendel or I could see also Sean Coleman staying on as well. I don't know. But since I swayed you there, I'll get you Michael Pruitt, you know?
Okay, I like that.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, cuz that's where we were. This is how, general managers and head
This is
coaches
how they
work.
work. This is how they work.
This is how they come up with their 53, in case you didn't know.
Hey, it was better than your idea of rock, paper, scissors. Could you imagine if that was how front offices made rosters?
Disaster, total disaster.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
could name a few franchises that I think do come up with their roster decisions that way.
Yeah, same. I'm not going to though.
Okay, so moving on to okay. Well, let's do you want to do wide receiver really quick?
Yeah.
It got a whole lot easier, honestly, like after the injury to Richie James, and like I was saying, like Nasimba Webster, Juwan Jennings, like they kind of tapered off a little bit. So
I have a question about Webster.
Okay. What
is it just pronounced Simba?
I think it's Nasimba.
Because on the broadcast, Greg Papa kept calling him Simba, and I was like, "Oh my god, is the N silent?" So I'm gonna have to look into that. But also, it's Greg Papa, so I'm not. Like could have just been a mistake. But I just wanted to see if you knew. So, sidebar over.
Well, okay, we'll see if anyone in the comments could help us out here. I've heard many people call him Nasimba Webster, so honestly, yeah, I'm not sure. They do when they do their broadcast, they do get like the sheet that has all the players' names and it has pronunciation on there. Yeah. So if, I would hope they're not saying it wrong. Yeah. Hope they
maybe
look
thought
over
it was
their
a
notes.
typo.
Yeah, possibly. Again, it is Greg Pop. Greg Pop is killing me. Yeah,
we love him. So receivers.
Yes. Okay, so who we calling? I'm gonna wait on Benjamin really quick, but not that. But we've got our top 3. Honestly, like I think Sherfield's probably the third now. I think I said that last week.
Oh, I mean, I still have Sanu as 3 and then Sherfield as 4, but anything could happen. I mean,
they're probably like 3A and 3B,
Yeah.
That's a thing. Okay, so we got 4 so far. We maybe want to have between 6, 7. So I think Jalen Hurd, he's on there.
And then Juwan Jennings.
You think Juwan Jennings makes it?
I have Juwan Jennings just because of everything that we've heard about him all throughout camp. And how he's performed.
And then I'm going to put Travis Benjamin. We good with that?
Yeah. I mean, we have that extra spot, and I know he's in concussion protocol, but he's been great. And he has that speed. They've been talking a lot about his speed, how they haven't really had speed like him on the team in a while. And I just like him. So cool. He's shown a lot.
All right. So we got 7. We got 7 wide receivers. All right.
I don't know if that's going to be the case.
Boy. But... Yeah. I'm not sure. But if there was an odd man out here, I mean, who would you
I'm leaving out Benjamin.
Okay.
Personally.
Okay. Personally, I would take out Jennings.
I knew you were going to say that.
Because I just have to agree with everything.
You mean disagree?
Disagree. Yes, disagree. No, I mean, I think he can. He's just someone who has kind of flown under the radar on a national level that,
So you think he could just be on the practice squad?
yeah, that's what I think. That's my feeling. But I don't know. I'm not sure how this will shake out.
Yeah, we have no idea. We have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah. But please continue watching.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to let's go. You want to go linebackers?
Yeah.
Let's go linebackers. All right, so we've got who we have here. So we've got a pretty long list. Obviously, Warner, Greenlaw is safe. I would also say Aziz Ashair is safe. And then we probably
Harris.
want to have like 5 linebackers.
Yeah. I feel like Harris is a lock. We were talking about him earlier,
Yeah.
how much the coaches love him. So that's number 4. So then it's just between the rest of the guys that are left. And I mean, it's been a pretty close competition all camp. Who would you go with?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so Sullivan had a pretty good game yesterday. Let me pull up
But
my
was
notes.
it
But
enough?
he was graded 89.9 actually in the whole preseason, so that's pretty impressive. Hilliard, he could go on the practice squad but me. He was an undrafted free agent. I don't, he hasn't made that much noise either. I think he needs more time to, grow into his abilities a bit. So I wouldn't keep him around. Jonas. So it really comes down to Flanagan Fowles and Jonas Griffith for me.
Yeah.
And that's tough because Griffith has looked really good at several points this season. Flanagan Fowles, if I'm not mistaken, did start at some points last year when they had a number of injuries at linebacker.
Yeah.
So he has that experience already.
Right.
So I think that alone might, give him the edge a bit.
I
What
feel
are
like
your
there's no
thoughts?
wrong answer. I feel like there's no wrong answer between the two. I literally wrote down tough choice between Flanagan Fowles and Jonas Griffith, but I went Griffith just because he has played so great during the preseason. For the most part, all you have to go off of him is this preseason. But then again, like Flanagan Fowles does have the repertoire with the team and being on the team for the past 2 seasons. So it's like, does have that going for him. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I would be curious to see like what everyone else in the world thinks, but I went with Griffith just personally.
Okay.
But I know you are a Flanagan Fowles girl.
No, I love Griffith. I don't want a situation where you cut him and another team picks him up. That's my fear. But that fear is just as strong with Flanagan Fowles. I mean, the same could happen with him too. So I don't know.
Sounds like you need to make a decision.
I am Kyle Shanahan in this case after all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Flanagan Fowles. Just because he has that game experience.
No, yeah.
He can do it at a high level, or just play against starters in this league. So I'm gonna give it to him, but I'm really crossing my fingers that Jonas Griffith could make it to our practice squad.
Or vice versa, however it ends up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. Let's do safeties next. That's another interesting one.
I feel like it was pretty easy.
So we've got, you think it's easy? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So, okay. Here I have Tarvarius Moore grayed out because he is on the PUP list. He does not count against the roster. So I'll leave him out of the list. But again, he's like still part of the team, guys. He's not going anywhere. He's just on the pup list.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tart, obviously. Ward, obviously. Hufanga, we know he has played well enough to be an obviously at this point as well. He's a lock for me. And then it really comes down to Tavon Wilson and Haha Clinton Dix. And honestly, like I know it's just the preseason and like Clinton Dix has gone in at most points when like starters haven't been in there, but he's played pretty well, all things considered. So to me, that's a tough choice. I hope that Clinton Dix could make it to the practice squad because Tavon Wilson has also been playing well.
Yeah, that's my fourth.
Yeah, so I do give the edge to Wilson here. I mean, they're both veterans, but I don't know. I think Wilson has the slight edge on Clinton Dix. And again, hopefully,
I agree.
If any injuries happen, hopefully Clinton Dix could be available.
Speaking of Greg Papa and Tim Ryan, can we talk about what they did when Haha intercepted the ball? Greg Papa literally did the Woody the Woodpecker. I wanted to die.
Well, one, I personally hate that people make fun of his name because that's his name. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Granted,
it's just like you're like the broadcaster. You should be like professional about his name, if anyone, right?
Right, exactly. That's like it seemed like it was disrespectful to the Raiders and it was disrespectful to Haha Clinton Dix. You know, it was like a double. It was like they're laughing at the Raiders, which like, yeah, if I'm drunk watching the game at my local pizza parlor, like I'm going to do that, but not when I'm broadcasting the game, you know?
Like I know it's just preseason, but that's just NFL did cut the game before that. So at least it didn't get on national broadcast. But then like all these like Twitter pages were sharing the video. So I was like, oh my God, please. It was so cringe. And
yeah,
a lot of what they've been saying have been cringe. Tasty hasty.
If you say tasty hasty, I think actually Dawson commented it in the comments. We're not doing that, Dawson.
Oh yeah, tasty hasty. No, that is unforgivable. We don't. Oh, come on. Like, that was so bad. It's like, excuse me?
We forgive you, though.
Oh, my God. Get me to the regular season. Because I hope they don't do that in the regular season. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's
do cornerbacks.
Yeah, let's do cornerbacks. Okay. Who we got? All right. So we got Jason Verrett. Emmanuel Mosley for sure is going to be on the other side. Those are your two starters there. You also have Quan Williams, who will be your nickel. And then Diamador Lenore, who's had a really good preseason. And he got some time at nickel corner yesterday as well. So that's cool that he could play both. He has that versatility.
Yeah.
Definitely a lock. Ambry Thomas is definitely a lock. Just the fact that he's been he's a third round pick. So
I'm rocking with those 5.
Yeah, you're doing 5. Let's see. Yeah, I think 5 is good. Definitely not touching Alexander Myers. Devontae Harris. I feel like they claimed him from the Ravens, but I think that was more so for depth too. And
yeah.
Oh, what do you think of Dante Johnson?
He's not making it.
You don't think he's making it?
He's not on my 5.
He's not on your 5.
I'm keeping 5 and he's not on there. I don't think we have enough room to keep 6 unless you want to switch him out with Thomas.
No, but that's interesting because like I was going to say, and this might be a little controversial, so no one hate me, But if
Uh-oh.
Ambry Thomas was not a third-round pick, I'm not sure he'd be a lock on this roster. Am I
That's fair.
okay?
Yeah,
Is that a
I for sure think that plays a part into any rookie potentially making a roster. You know, you don't want to look at your draft as a failure if some of the guys don't make the team, you know, especially a third round, second round, fifth round
all right?
pick. We're
Okay, so
throwing fifth round out there since they're always so good for the Niners.
yeah, they are. Okay, so we've got 5 corners, and then we've got 4 safeties, so total of 9 defensive backs. So yeah, that's about a good range. Now you want to do defensive end?
Yeah.
Let's go for it. All right, this one's kind of easy. I mean, Bosa, Ebukam, Arden Key, D Ford. Those are, I mean, any objections there?
Nope, those are the guys. Can't complain, dude. It's pretty we have
Yeah,
a pretty good outlook for that. So
yeah, definitely. Alex Barrett looked really good yesterday. Let me just pull up my note on Barrett. He only played 14 pass rush snaps. He had 5 pressures, 1 sack, 3 tackles, and 2 tackles for loss. 2 of those were tackle for loss. So that's really good. Another note here is Jordan Willis is suspended for the first 6 weeks of the season, so he's not going to count towards the 53 for those first 6 weeks as well.
Yeah,
so
that's why I have Arden Key on there.
Yeah, so that allows for someone else to stay. So looking at some silver linings.
Yeah, and also don't do illegal substances so you get suspended.
Yeah,
like what are you doing? Anyway, sorry.
Moving on to defensive tackles. Armstead, Kinlaw, I mean DJ Jones for sure. Maurice Hurst is on the pup list. Again, he doesn't count towards the 53. Darion Daniels is probably the odd man out here.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I agree.
Okay.
I got Contavious.
Man, we agreeing. Oh, you know what? Who I didn't have though is Givens on here. What? I missed
I
Givens.
do.
So you have Givens making it. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's see where that has us.
Yeah. I've lost count. My count.
I know.
I was gonna.
I should have had you
count.
Keeping count here. Okay, so we've got. I know there's like a way to count through.
I mean,
but
that's
if I had Excel right now, is this 53?
We're good with Givens on there.
Okay, is this?
Have we gone through all of them?
Yeah.
Then yeah, that's 53.
Okay.
If we added Pruitt, yeah.
Yeah, Pruitt, we did add. So you are looking at our 53-man projection. How did we do?
Yes. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
I'm wondering, like, are there going to be any surprises? You know,
I think there'll definitely be some surprises. I mean,
maybe at quarterback
kind of is every year. Quarterback.
They could keep 3 quarterbacks.
Oh, I guess you're right.
Shanahan's a 3 quarterback guy.
That would just be such a waste. I would be so pissed if, they cut someone on the defensive line, for example. Like, I don't know. Like, that would be a travesty.
Right. That's why we have 2 quarterbacks on our 53-man roster, because we're the real brains here.
So, yeah, if you guys, Kyle, John Lynch, if you're watching, keep 2.
Yeah.
Don't get all cute here. All right.
Don't get all nervous.
And honestly, I think Nate Sudfeld is probably going to make the practice squad anyway.
Yeah.
I don't see another team picking him up. So,
well, I mean, after between his showing in Philadelphia last year and his showing in preseason this year, never say never. That was a joke, by the way.
Jesus. I'm keeping 2. Okay, cool. Thanks,
We're not the
Ryan.
only ones.
Confirmed. We're keeping 2.
Sweet. We did it.
We did
I'm so
it.
excited to see if we're right.
We'll see. Yeah. So tomorrow is when the cuts will be announced around 1 p.m. Pacific. So we will see what happens. And then shortly after that, you'll notice that teams will start adding players onto their practice squad as well. Keep in mind also, the limit for practice squad is 16 because they've opened it up. They're still keeping the COVID practice squad rules, so it's going to be 16 players. We'll see some players that were part of the 80-man, 83-man roster, and we'll also see some players from other teams making it onto our practice squad. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do, and we can't wait to talk about it in next week's episode. So,
yeah, hopefully we have a lot to talk about.
Oh, I'm sure we will.
Always.
So for all of you guys that tuned in, thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe, youtube.com/Stragosaurus. If you need to know how to spell Stragosaurus, it's right down here. And follow us on Twitter. These are our handles. So yeah, thank you for listening. Until next week. Peace.